All right. Welcome to Mom and Dad Reviews. This is our second episode. I'm your host, Adam, and your co host is Sarah. Our podcast will give you a view of life in the West, in particular Australia, from an ethnic point of view. We are brown people raised in the West. I came to Australia when I was 5, and Sarah, who is, by the way, my wife, came to Australia when she was 19. We got married at 19 and we have 6 kids. We are both 35 years old, only a month between us. I'm older, of course. We aim to review products and talk about life in general. Before we get started, please support our sponsors CrazyWackySuperstore.com, GemHouseJewelers.com, Dressanista.com, QuiltKingdom.com, and CheekyBaby.com. They got excellent merch, support them so that they can support us. Also support Strident News and take advantage of giving to the homelessness project. Um, we all know that homelessness is a big issue at the moment, and if you can give to their project, we can help to alleviate that problem. I'd love to say we can absolutely get rid of that problem, but that's delusional. And another organization is our website called familyfuntimeclub.com, in which we have a project to help out desperate children in need. So if you can give to that, we would really appreciate it, and so would the children that are in need. If you would like to donate and support us directly, then we have a variety of methods you can do this. Firstly, you can visit familyfuntimeclub.com, and under the support and donation tab, you can select our cause, Mom and Dad Reviews. Otherwise, you can support us through PayPal or Patreon, as the links are in the slides and will also be in the description. So let's get on with the show. Our second episode is talking about homeschooling in Australia. So I'm going to pass it off to Sarah.
Hello, everybody. I'm Sarah, and today we're going to talk about homeschooling. I'm the one who usually teaches my children in the mornings. Usually, like we have a time, we wake up, we all have our breakfast, and slowly we get start by 8:30.
Yeah, so the
We've been
point here is like when you homeschool children in Australia, there is no strict, start time. There is no strict, you have to start at 9 o'clock. You can start homeschooling whenever it fits you and your child, right? But what's important is that you get that information out there, that important daily lesson out there. And also, when I say daily lesson, it doesn't have to be 5 days a week. It can be four, can be three, but as long as you get that information out there, what they need to learn for that week, you will be fine. I wouldn't recommend less than 3 days a week. Usually, we teach them 4 days a week, and like Fridays in most schools, they're like a sports day and sort of they're like a free day. Every school has one of those sort of free days. So we give that to our children. We give a day to our children to just catch up on the daily lessons, ask questions in that day, and sort of to have a relax as well. But those 4 days were very intense in the week,
Yep.
and we don't always start at 8:30. We don't always start at 9. We understand that our children are growing, and we let them sleep well before they start, so that they're well motivated. And we do about 3 to 4
4
hours,
hours every day. Yeah.
every day.
And if
Um,
we are behind, like we do it after lunch
yeah,
sometimes as
yeah.
well.
Well, we catch up. It's not a big
Yeah,
deal.
even in the weekends, you can still like take
Yeah,
out 1 or 2 hours and sit with your child and like teach them if you're behind schedule, like
yeah, exactly.
that's the
So
thing.
we've been homeschooling four of our children now for 6 years. Well,
Yeah,
we started off with two, then a third joined us, then a fourth. But we have a good 6 years experience, and we're going on to our seventh year of homeschooling. So we do know what we're talking about here in Australia. This homeschooling is relevant to Australia, but if you're around the world, and you want to homeschool your children to Australian standards, it's pretty easy. All you have to go and do is look at the F12, no, I think it's called F10 curriculum.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the F10 curriculum, Australian curriculum, and it gives you a guide as to how to teach your children. And it also has resources there that may help to teach your children. But there are a lot of good resources out there that will help guide you and your child through the semester in accordance with that F10 curriculum, depending on what year level your child is at. So when we homeschool our children, the most important thing is to provide them with a high quality education. That is what the departments around Australia are looking for. Are you providing a child with a high quality education? And if you are, then that's you're meeting the requirement. And if you're not, then perhaps homeschooling is not for you.
Yes, they want you to. So high quality education also includes like the core subjects is math and English. That's compulsory. Like you have to teach your children that.
Yeah, math and English here where we are is yeah, certainly it's compulsory, but also you have to submit math and English samples every year regardless. So when it comes to reporting, we report every year on something that's called an anniversary date. So they usually give you a month before the anniversary date to submit the report, and the anniversary date is the cutoff date. So
If you don't submit
yeah, if
it,
you don't
then
submit, then you're in breach of your obligations
registrations
as a
get, yeah,
homeschooler.
cancelled and
Yeah.
everything.
So yeah, so when you start off, you'll apply for registration, and you'll probably get provisional registration first. After that, if there are no issues, no family issues, you're not divorced, and you don't have any family violence issues and all of that, then you should be fine. You'd probably have unconditional registration, as we do. But it depends on your own situation and custody of your children. It gets really messy when there is like when a child is from divorced parents. It gets pretty yeah tricky. But
Yeah,
anyway,
because as parents, we are the one who's supposed to be teaching our children. We can't have others to come and teach you.
yes, but you can also get a
Tu-
registered teacher to teach your children,
yeah, but like
but
not
nobody else.
nobody else can
Nobody.
come and just teach your child.
Yeah,
Like your friends, or you want to do a group work, like group thing and stuff like
you
that.
can you can still do a group thing as long as the
But it,
parents are there,
yeah, the parents, like how some people say, like,
like
oh,
group
can you
activities, but not
can
like a
you teach my children,
no
like,
no 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 no
I
no.
like,
You
no,
can't do
we
that.
can't do that. Like
No
that's what I tell them.
no.
Like we can't. They want you. They want to drop their kids, and
Yeah,
then we
as
teach them with
such.
our children.
Yeah,
So why,
like a
like,
private school, like exclusively private school.
I mean, teachers is different, but as parents, like it's our responsibility to teach our children, and we are supposed to be looking after them, like how they're doing their work, like help them out if they need more time, focus more on their particular subject, like as long as you want, because you're homeschooling, so there's no restriction. And then it comes to one more thing we want to talk about is like finance, like all these
Oh
books.
yes. See, a lot of people have the misconception that people who homeschool their children in Australia are funded by the government to do so. This is absolutely wrong. There's no funding. There's no specific funding from the government that allows you to homeschool your children. When you homeschool your children, it is out of pocket expense from yourselves. The government, not like private primary schools, the state schools and stuff, that the government just forks out money and gives your children money. No, all the books, computers, tablets, all of that is your expense. Because you're homeschooling your child, so that's your expense. And again, you're not going to get a specific payment from Centrelink or the welfare department for
Homeschooling.
homeschooling your children. There's no such thing. As far as I know, there are probably like some exemptions, but that's all I know. but I'm not sure about that. But for us, we fund our children 100% from our own pocket. Um, it is very difficult. There are a lot of time commitments here, so you need to be a parent that has enough time uh, to homeschool your children. If you're not, it's not a good idea to homeschool, guys. Do not homeschool your children if you don't have that time, because you're not going to give them a high quality education, which is contrary to the legislation, right? Don't homeschool them if you don't have the time. You're just going to ruin their lives, and you're gonna ruin perhaps your own life as well. You know, don't do it if you're not 100% committed. It
Yeah.
it is a real commitment. So
Yeah, lots of mothers they can't do it. They try to do it, like our friends. They try to do it, and
yeah,
it's mentally exhausting for them. They can't do it. They did it like for a week or so, and they just quit. Like, oh, I can't do it. So you gotta have patience. Children are
yeah. In
naughty,
the
and
beginning, when you start homeschooling, it is going to be difficult, right? It is going to be difficult because you're going to have to switch as a teacher, you know, rather than a parent with your children, because your children will just want to muck around and play and, just misbehave. But you need to switch and become that teacher for them. So you're a parent teacher. As a parent, you care about them deeply. You want to really sit down and see that they understand the concepts that are being taught to them, which is much better than just being a teacher. I suppose a parent teacher is,
there is
uh,
connection between your children
yeah,
as well, like bonding. We
of
bond with each
course,
other as
we
well.
exactly we bond with our children. When we teach them, we have that wonderful connection that most parents don't. Most parents just go and dump their children off at school and forget about them. And then come back home, probably buy some takeout and feed their kids and rinse and repeat. And then the parents wonder why the children have put them in the nursing home and taken all their money. Well, this is the reason, guys.
What
This
goes
is the
around
reason.
comes around.
Yeah, what goes around comes around. Whether you like it or not, it's a bitter
That's
pill
the
to
reality and the fact of life. And we don't do those things. We cook everyday hot meal for our children, like for lunch.
yes, nutrition is very important. They need to be well fed before they start to study, and there's only this small window of time that they focus. The other thing is, like, I've noticed this with almost all children, is that the moment that you get up and you leave the room, they start misbehaving and talking when you tell them you have to do the work. So you have to be with them, constantly ensuring that they're doing the work, until they get older. But still, when as they get older, they get a little bit smarter and, they're able to evade that rule. But anyway, you have to be with them, you know, whether you're just sitting down there doing your own work, because Sarah and I, we have our own businesses. So we have multiple businesses that we run from home. We have a lot of businesses, so that gives us enough income to support ourselves and support our children through this homeschooling journey. So that's we're very fortunate in that sense. Um, but we've done pretty much everything at home. You know, we birth 5 out of our 6 children at home, so we birth them at home, and we're also teaching them at home.
Oh,
So they've been
yes.
with us all their
Oh,
lives.
since they're born, they're with us. We've never even sent them to childcare. None of our kids, like children, to the childcare.
No,
And
they've
they,
not had one day at childcare, not even one day um,
of
being looked after by somebody else. No.
exactly.
Our oldest child is 12 years old, going on to 13, and in that 12 years time, we've always looked after them ourselves. So our children, we've invested a lot of time and effort in them.
And even when we go for holidays and stuff, we have always taken our children with us, and enjoyed together as a family.
Yeah, a lot of people think that children are burdens, and this is really not true. Children are blessings
Blessing.
in your life. If you regard them as burdens, then perhaps, you know, you shouldn't be homeschooling.
Shouldn't have children.
You perhaps need to seek therapy, you know?
A lot of people have problems with their children. They don't want to like look after them. They say it's easier to send them to school and but we happy, we love our children and we do everything and look, everybody when we go out they all like praise, like what good children you have, they're so
Yeah, we try
good.
to teach them manners, and every moment that we have, we try, every significant moment that we have, we try to make it a learning moment in their lives, um, which is which is a really good thing, you know.
Yeah, they
Um,
respect the elders, they even go in the
the
shop
elders, yeah,
and they don't even like touch things, and people are so good, like they come and thank me, for raising such good children, and I get like so happy, like it's homeschooling does like help,
yeah. But it is very difficult in the start. But as you get into the rhythm, it becomes a lot easier, a lot easier. If you can stick to it, it's good. Don't make some of the mistakes we made with our friends. What we did was, our friends came to us and they said, "Look, we want to homeschool. We want to do what you're doing. You know, we find you so inspirational. Can you help us?" So this is for these friends and for future friends that come and other people that bother us about this. You know, we made this podcast so that we don't have to keep repeating ourselves. The mistake that we made was that with one of our friends, with a few, not just one, but with I think about two, um, we made the plans for them. We made the student plan. We gave them the resources. We spoon fed them, right? And they ended up homeschooling for just a term or less, and they couldn't do it. Biggest mistake to do. Don't make the plans and things for your friends, because you know you're detracting from that requirement of a high quality education. um, so what you should do is guide them, but don't make the plan. Tell them how to make the plan. Everybody's teaching method is different. So like our teaching method may not be appropriate for your child or the way that you teach, you know. And this will cause burnout. Let the people that want to homeschool figure some things out for themselves so that their children can get the best out of them. And if they're unable to figure it out, then what the conclusion there is that they're unfit to homeschool, right? That is the bleak reality of it, because not everybody can homeschool. Not everybody has those resources. Not everybody has that talent and that skill. Homeschooling is very difficult, but if you do it the right way, it is it is a blessing. It is you will see the reward in your life. You know, you're able to really hone in what your child learns. You're able to uh, provide them with a better education than you had. You know, when you went to school. For example, like I said, we have many businesses. We have multiple businesses, and we teach our children a lot of business skills. I've done law. I'm not a practicing lawyer, um, but I've done law, and I can get a license in the future if I want to. But at the moment, uh, my accounting and my businesses are taking a lot of time. And what I do with this, with my businesses, is that I show my children how to develop websites, how to use accounting software. I teach them about law in Australia and law around the world. I teach them a very important thing in law is called jurisdiction, and I teach them about this. So they do legal studies with me. They do accounting with me. Their mother has got tourism qualifications and management and leadership and a lot of other qualifications, and we implement what we have learned and we pass those skills on to our children. you know, thereby providing a higher education for them. You, as long as you finished high school and your English is proficient, I think that would be the minimum to homeschool children. If you haven't, you've done up to year 10. You might find it a little bit difficult, but if your English is good, your mathematics is sound, you should do well. Um, Yet, uh, I would say that people with a higher education would perhaps give their children better education, um, because they can implement that higher education into the child's life. But that's not a factor that will that the education department looks really deeply at. They look at the ability for you to teach a child, and basically, you're able to read a book, you're able to do basic math, you should be fine in the formative years, in the coming years, probably up to year 10. Um, yeah, so that's what I got to say about that.
Yes, and then we also have to collect samples and submit it.
Yeah, I told them about that earlier,
Like,
earlier on. You have to collect two samples that are 3 months apart, um, every year, and then you submit that on your anniversary date. So you collect samples for math and English, and then you'll collect samples for one of the other selected subjects that you're doing, and then uh, you will write the annotations. You'll write things about you'll compare the two samples. You also have to implement tests for you have to implement the tests yourselves in all of these samples, and then you will write a brief report about the progress that your child has made between the two samples, and you will submit that report to the education department.
yes, there's a lot of things which we can do at home. Even we can go out whenever we want to with the kids, like do activities with them. It doesn't have to be always in the weekend. During the weekdays, we take our children out to the beach area, like other places, wherever we want to, or visit something like, zoo and things like that. We can do it. And less people during those weekdays when the school is open, like it's easier to go. That's the best thing about it
Yeah,
as
so
well.
there is a lot of flexibility in homeschooling. That's what the point we're trying to make. Um, One of the biggest criticisms we get homeschooling our children is socializing. You know, they say, oh, your children don't socialize. Our children do socialize. We take them to the park. We associate with our friends. We go to the arcades. We do all of those activities, socializing activities. But then they come back to us and go, oh, but they really don't socialize because they don't go and to talk to other kids. Well, they talk amongst themselves. They're six siblings, you know. And on top of that, when in the real world do you ever hang around people of your own age? If you're in the work environment, is everybody your own age in the working environment? Do you have friends that are all the same age? This is not reality. This is not the way that the world works. Yes, if you go to school, okay, they may be all your age, right? But that's the way the system was made. It wasn't made like everybody that's in a class is of the same intellectual level. No, because they think that's discrimination, right? But the reality is, uh, in the real world, you're never gonna socialize with like 30 other people that are your age. Come on, let's be real about it. You know
And
that
how long do they talk to each other anyway in school?
exactly,
Like during the breaks,
exactly. If children are talking in class, what does the teacher say? The teacher says,
be quiet.
"Be quiet." Yeah, talk at lunchtime. At that time, at that point, sometimes you're so hungry you just want to have lunch. You know?
And then on top of that, like you look at kids when they take lunch and stuff, like sandwiches and stuff, they all get soggy as well. Like,
Yeah, with the nutrition aspect of it, right? If you're not going to private school and you don't have those fancy lunches and all of that, Um, yeah, your nutrition, everybody knows is pretty bad. You take it to school, you take a cold water bottle with you to school, and your bag gets all soggy, your books get soggy, perhaps your water bottle comes loose, and it's just a disaster, You don't get hot meals, and even though the school says, oh, we provide microwaves. Yeah, really, I never got provided a microwave at my school, and I went to public school. So you're stuck eating, cold food unless you go to the to the tuck shop, or the shop in the school if it's open. Some schools only open 3 days, but regardless, you pay such a exorbitant price that your parents can't afford it. You know, and then the food that you get is really not worth it.
And another thing is like, when you want to do all these things, homeschooling and stuff, when you talk to other people, nobody will support you. They will
Yeah,
all
don't
put you down.
don't
Yeah.
expect to be supported by these people, by your friends. Don't expect them to support you at all. They are probably jealous or just not in the right frame, of mind. They're just
They will
losers.
think you're
Yeah,
crazy. This is not the way the world works. Homeschooling, everybody goes to school, the kids, like this is the life.
yeah,
And lots of mothers just like, oh, we just want to stay home and relax and this and that. So like,
yeah.
do
They got
what you
that
want to
selfish
do,
mentality.
and don't tell others, like don't tell others you want to do homeschooling or you want to do this. Just go ahead, do it, and
Yeah,
see how it goes, like, and if it sometimes, like, you will it is tiring, it is very tiring, and you need to
but
work
it's very
really.
rewarding at the
Yeah,
same time.
your children are always with you, they are safe. The main concern is, like, they are safe, and when you send to school, you're gonna be worried all the time anyway, like if they are
Well, if you're a
okay.
good parent, you worry. If you're a bad
But
parent, you don't
the
care.
bully thing is a big thing now, like, if you're a black kid
Yeah,
or
that brings
brown
us to the
kid.
next point, and that's like homeschooling in Australia is actually increasing. Is on the rise.
Exactly, and bullying is like a big thing now in Australia as well, like, we always see in the news, like these brown kids and stuff, black kids, they get bullied so much, and kids are committing suicide and things like that, and I'm worried about those things. I don't want my children to go through that.
Yeah, where we lived, there was an incident just at the school. We have probably maybe 5 or 6 schools in a 1 kilometer radius from us. But there was an incident with one of those schools. One of the children it got into a fight. I think one of the bullies, sorry, hit an innocent kid, and they got into a fight, and he hit this innocent kid so hard that he fell and hit his head on the curb,
Yeah.
and he died. He ended up in hospital, and later on he died. You know, like, you feel for the parents that put so much effort into that child, and for another scumbag of a child to come by and bully your beautiful child and kill them. You you just gotta feel for them. Like, so homeschooling in a way, it helps your child, it protects your child from all of this nonsense. And you're gonna say, oh well, you're putting them in a cotton ball, and you're not allowing them to live. Well, so be it. But what we're doing is we're preparing them for the real life. We're showing them how to make money, which is not something that the schools show, which is not something that the schools teach, and we're forming them into strong, resilient individuals, so that they can function properly when they're ready, when they are adults. When we're saying we believe by 15 our children should be well equipped to deal with life in general. And I think that's a good age to release them and let them do what they want, you know?
Exactly. At
Uh,
15, they are basically men anyway. They do things on their own.
yeah,
And I mean, you want to do it, go ahead. Don't go like, ah, no, not now. It's never gonna be, You just gotta do it. Like, start it and see how it goes. And if you have any questions, you can always email us.
Yeah, email us or use the comment section in the platforms and let us know what you think or what you want us to talk about. We can always do like a follow up uh, podcast on homeschooling. Um,
And also, they can go on their, like, the whichever state they're in, they can go to the homeschooling website and they check it out
oh
as
yeah,
well.
if you're
Yeah.
in Australia, you can go to whatever state you'd like to, whatever state you're in, and talk to the homeschooling department directly. But if you want anecdotal experience, anecdotal evidence from our experiences, we're here to share those experiences with you. It's starting to rain pretty heavily here, so we're going to come to a conclusion uh, for episode 2. This is homeschooling. So we'll be talking about a different thing next episode. Again, like support our sponsors, Crazy Wacky Superstore .com. They got excellent merchandise. GemHouseJewelers.com. Beautiful jewelry they have. Dressanista.com. They have very nice dresses. QuillKingdom.com. They have a lot of bedding, a lot of good products, good bedding products, and CheekyBaby.com. It has a lot of. They have a lot of products for children, for babies. Check them out, support them, because by supporting them, you're supporting us. And also, don't forget to support Strider News and give to the homelessness project. The homeless people will thank you. And again, if you want to donate to our cause, familyfuntime.club, helping out desperate children, then please visit that website and find the relevant tabs and give to that program. Uh, if you want to donate to us, then please do so by the PayPal links or Patreon or through the familyfuntimeclub.com website. Uh, we would appreciate it if you could like, subscribe, and hit the bell button if you're in YouTube. We also would love it if you could send us through, all your donations and support. That's how we know we're doing well. And if you have any suggestions and want us to talk about a specific topic, let us know. We would really appreciate that. Um,
Thank you for listening to us. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.
that's right. We'll see you in the next episode. And if we've said anything to offend you, or if we've said anything offensive, anything that you may find that has hurt your feelings, we sincerely apologize for that. That's not our intention. We're just having a conversation, and we're just talking about our experiences. But again, we apologize if we've hurt your feelings or we've said something that's hit a nerve. That's not our intention. Thank you again, and we hope to talk to you guys again soon.
Bye.